Yo, we are live. We just came off of a show. We running late. We had technical difficulties. We had all kinds of issues. But one thing we're not gonna do is we're not gonna not do this show. And if you know, you know. It's Sunday. Normally at 8:30. It ain't 8:30, but we here. And this is the check-in. You know what I'm saying? Jizzo, you want to go ahead and give them the disclaimer before we start everything else?
Yo, what up, man? It's your boy Jizzo. We are not licensed therapists or uh, any of that, man. We don't. We're just talking. It's just a couple of the homies talking
It's
about
more
how
than
we
that.
feel about situations. It's grown men sitting talking about things that affect us, man. And we talk the real. And sometimes you're gonna hear things that maybe you don't want to hear. You're gonna hear truths or things about your story that you might not want to hear how other people feel about it. So, like I said, man, we're not psychologists, we're not therapists, none of that, man. So don't sue us. This isn't, professional medical advice. If you need medical advice, there's a number to call. I'll get to the number in a second, but yeah, man, this isn't it. This is just somewhere to come, ask questions, listen to other men and their feedback on what they think you're doing, and
Right.
hopefully it can help you. The show's all about solutions.
Right.
So hopefully that it can help in that aspect in your life. And from personal experience in my life and in our lives and people that we've seen in the comments, we've definitely reached different people at different times in different situations in their life. So this is a super productive show, man, where you guys can come every single week. It's normally at 8:30. We had technical difficulties, and then Shy City Cypher podcast ran over. So,
But we here.
But we're here. So
And
yeah,
and as I always say,
yeah,
if you got cotton candy ass ears and dream of bunny rabbits and motherfucking unicorns, and you fucking dance with sugar plums in your head and all that shit, get the fuck off this channel. It's not for you. Things are going to be said very harsh. Things are going to be said that you may not agree with. Things are going to be said that if you're not thick-skinned, you're not going to. This may not be for you. And if it's not for you, just get off the channel. Don't report us. Don't do none of that. Because people need to hear the truth. And people need to hear things. Some people take it different ways than others. Some people need billboards. And that billboard might mean shut the fuck up and listen. That billboard might mean you're fucking wrong. Shut your fucking mouth. Or whatever it may be. Not saying that's how we talk to people. We don't try to disrespect anybody or anything like that. But we just speak the truth. So if you're not prepared for the truth, get the fuck off this channel, please. Humbly and respectfully, get off the channel. If you come here and you really seek help and you really want some help, we are going to do our very best to get you help and help you with whatever situation you're going through. Just be receptive to it. That's all. Receive it. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm your host, Heat Detector.
I'm your boy Jizzo.
And we also got the OT, the OG OT, the drill sergeant. OT in the building. Was cracking OT. You out there in Germany? It's snowing like a motherfucker in Germany.
Snowing like a motherfucker. Real talk, real talk. Hey, glad to see y'all. Hey, I'm OT out here in Germany. I'll be out here another couple of days, and hopefully they'll clean up those runways so I can get a body.
Yeah, he's trying to get back to sunny California.
Trying to get back to
You know what I'm
California.
I would be too.
Yeah, but you good? You in good health and good spirits and all that?
10-4, good.
Yes,
good.
sir.
Everything's
That's
solid,
all that
solid.
matters. That's all that matters. Now, let's get to this topic real quick, and that the topic is why take emotional inventory. And the reason, I know a lot of times I use a lot of my life situations in this show. Well, number one is because it's helpful, and number two, I know that life hasn't singled me out as an individual. So these things that happen to me for sure happen to someone else.
For those that don't know what emotional inventory is, according to statisticsolutions.com, the emotional quotient inventory is a self-report intended to evaluate emotional and social functioning. You know what? All right.
That's the wrong one.
Yeah. Aim to record your emotions at least 3 times a day for at
Yes.
least 3 different days. Record the date and day, time, and your emotional state, how you are feeling, happy, angry, sad, excited, anxious. You seem to explain that a lot better off camera,
Yeah.
so I'll just let you take it from here, man.
Yeah. So emotional inventory, like the reason I had thought about this because again, I use a lot of my life experience in this show. I use a lot of things that are happening to me in real time in this show because it's helpful, and also too, like I know life hasn't singled me out as a person for shit. Stuff happens to everybody, and we all have issues, and we all struggle through shit. You know what I mean? Maybe not at the same goddamn time, but we're humans, and it happens to all of us. So, anyways, shout out D Nick from the Misfits. I just threw the link in there, bro. The reason I thought of this is because I was having a fucked up day, and I thought to myself, what in the entire fuck is going on with me? Why certain things are triggering me, and why I start feeling a certain way. And our emotions, they can run amok, and our emotions can really have an effect on our behaviors. And so when I started to think about that, I started to think about how I was feeling at a certain time when I did something when I knew goddamn well before I even did it, I was like, fuck, don't, I had this little quick moment in my mind. It's like, don't do that. That's just fucking stupid. But I did it anyway. And the outcome wasn't that fucking great, as it was never going to be that great because of the way I behaved. But the point is that next morning, I woke up and I was like, I need to do something about my emotions and about my feelings. And I started to do a little research. And I thought, because I had thought before I even looked it up, there's got to be a way to do like an inventory of your emotions. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it just turns out that there is a thing called emotional inventory and how it works and how you can have it work with you or work for you, and how important it is to take that emotional inventory. Hold on, D Nick is in the building. Let me try. I'm fuck. I always stumble this stupid ass shit. There he is. But how amongst when I started to research it, I started to really realize, like, holy shit, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Like, I should have been taking some emotional inventory a long fucking time ago, because part of that emotional inventory is like it says, it's like one of the things that I read was for 7 days you get a notebook or whatever, you set your timer for 7 days, 3 times a day, whatever your thoughts were in this notebook, you have a positive side and a negative side, and you write down what you were feeling in that particular moment at that particular time, and why do you think you were feeling that way or whatever. You do that 3 times a day for 7 days, and you start to figure out why you're feeling a certain way and why it triggers you and why you behave a certain way. The whole point is to, for lack of better terms, rewiring your brain to not react and not behave a certain way based off of your emotions. Am I saying that right, D?
What was that last part? I think you pretty got. Give me that last part again. That you said.
I said kind of like to rewire your brain or rewire your thinking to help you to not be to change your behavior, to not to react emotionally on shit. Exactly like that, but.
I mean, I think you generally got it. I wouldn't word it like that, but for the most part, that's generally it. Usually in like mental health and all that stuff, they never tell you to not. It's not a thing about. It's about making better decisions, and it's not like we're all emotional. We all get emotional all the time, and it's just about like focusing the thing to not be destructive,
right.
Not destructive. And there's different terms for like how they put that stuff based on whatever clinical pedagogy they follow. Like when we do like emotional inventory, more particularly when we talk about positive anger expression, like as it relates to emotional inventory, is it's like are you living like for what we say in the company that I work for is like, are you living in warrior energy? Are you moving in savage energy? You know what I'm saying?
And what would be the difference in warrior and savage energy?
And savage is something that makes you feel good in the moment, but is ultimately destructive for you and everybody around you. Warrior energy is when you're thinking of others, you're thinking of yourself, and you're making the best decisions for the greater good and yourself. Like starting with self and the greater good. Whereas savage energy, it may feel, like it's good for you, but based on like where you at in your emotional energy and all of that stuff. But it's very, pretty much 99% of the time the steak ain't worth the sizzle. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that was what happened to me the other night. The steak definitely wasn't worth the fucking sizzle at all. And I had to really check myself, but it wasn't until after I had already reacted. After it was already after
That's
I had
'cause the
already
sizzle-
behaved. You know what I'm saying? My behavior was way out of character. You know what I'm saying? And I had to really sit back and do like a real fucking inventory of myself. You know what I mean? Like, because it was fucked up. Because I got real violent, real fucking quick. And I haven't been that way in a very, very, very long time. And it was really shocking to me how that switch just went. And even though for that millisecond I was like, nah, I ain't finna do that. It was just a millisecond though. But by the time that millisecond was up, I was already up on my feet and headed to where I was headed on, you know what I mean? And went there with it. And that's not, as a grown ass man, that's not a good thing. And for me, in my journey, that shit ain't right. Like I'm too old. It's not that there's an age to it, because a motherfucker shouldn't be acting this way anyways. Period. But
it's I'm not one of those people that subscribe to feelings are facts, but feelings are valid because they're yours, or how you feel. So, and it's like I don't like we are trained, and I believe in like the stuff that I spew, like that I train in. I believe in. Like I don't really subscribe to doing shit. I wouldn't even be doing this type of work if I didn't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't no good and bad, and it like it's there's no everybody gets angry. So there's no good anger or bad anger. It's energy. And anger is energy, and your feelings. If that's what you feel that you're in, and when you do emotional inventory, you're in that. We say in company I'm in, they call it savage energy or it's warrior energy. Others are like, it's positive energy or warrior energy. Some people, like you probably are all more familiar with. There's a popular organization that was doing toxic energy, non-toxic, and then that became all commercialized and all of that type of stuff. It's
that's
really
when everybody became fucking toxic and
it's really it's a savage energy or it's warrior energy, and the way we define it is things that are destructive to others, yourself and others, the thing, all of that stuff. It's pretty apparent, but warrior energy, like, it's just a better way to handle that. But you're still mad. You're still gonna get mad. You're gonna get pissed. You're gonna get triggered and all that stuff. So,
Right, but I think part of that, taking that emotional inventory, is to help understanding the triggers and understanding that emotional part. You know what I mean? And for your, I don't know, like, if it's to like get a handle on your emotions, and so that you don't behave a certain way, or so you don't react a certain way. But I think, like, for me, like, the next morning was immediate. Well, first of all, it was immediate right then when it happened, and I knew, right then at that moment, he knew he done fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But at that point in time, the damage had already been done. But I was able to do some damage control, so to speak. But that whole night after that, I just couldn't stop thinking about it and thinking about what I should do, how do I go about doing it, and what is it that I need to do? And so, like, when I woke up in the morning, it was like, this is some emotional shit. So, you know, maybe I need to do like an emotional, and I couldn't think of the word, and then finally I was like, oh, emotional inventory. That's what I need to do. And then when I looked it up, it was a fucking thing, and I was like, oh shit, okay, and I read up on it, and I was like, okay, this is something I feel like I need to do for myself. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't want to, in this journey that I'm on right now, I don't want to be in none of the spaces that I was in before. Emotionally and behaviorally. I don't want to be in any of those spaces anymore. I'm quite happy, you know, with where I am right now.
What you mean by spaces? Like more specific.
Just like mental spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like when I become angry, like for the most part, like if I get angry about something, it's fairly easy for me to just be like, all right, that ain't that goddamn serious. But for whatever fucking reason, the other night, it was like I had zero fuse. And I've never really been a person that had a zero fuse. You know what I'm saying? And that shit troubled me. Like, I mean, like, man, I'm laying there like I'm a grown-ass man. Why in the fuck am I flipping out like a fucking 2-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Why am I throwing this a grown man fit? You know what I mean? Like, I was ready to rip some doors off the fucking hinges and all kinds of shit. And that's really not a place I want to be at. You know what I mean? And when I talk about those spaces, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in any of the latter spaces that I was in before, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5, 10, 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm just on a journey. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to be holier than thou or anything like that, or the best guy on the block. I just want to be better for me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm better for me, I'm going to be better for the people I'm around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know if I would. I feel you totally. I don't know if I would agree. Like I don't know if I agree with that train of thought. Like, you know, like not being in those spaces. More so as I'm on the side of, you know, like learning how to deal with.
Okay,
being
bad choice of words, then, because that's exactly what I mean. Learning and teaching myself what's the trigger, how do I deal with it, how do I learn to handle those emotions without being physical or without making poor choices or without reacting, and you know what I mean? Because the fact is, the feeling is there. The feelings are real. You know what I'm saying? But I can't get those feelings to disrupt other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Disrupt this path that I feel like that I'm on, that I want to continue. I can't, me personally, I can't allow these things. You know what I mean? I don't want to allow these things to take over me any longer. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a place right now, you know, where all of this shit is beginning to really, really, really matter to me. I'm beginning to matter to me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important for me to get a handle on myself. Because if I can get a handle on myself, I can deal with everything else around me, I feel like. You know what I mean? So
Is that what we call emotional maturity? Would that be something we could call it, D?
I'm sorry, the echo. I couldn't hear OT.
Yeah, I got
First
a
of
bad.
all, OT, we only got your shoulder in the picture too, by the way. And then
Yeah. My battery going down, so I'm plugging up and shit. You know. Anyway, what I'm saying is
Now we
emotional
got your ear.
maturity.
Okay.
It's emotional maturity is being self-aware. I mean, but that's all part of emotional maturity and growth is just really being aware and understanding like that. I mean, the fact that you identified it and caught it, and you know, that's dope in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you know. That's but that is a part of emotional maturity. That's part of it, man.
It's a hard pill to swallow, and I can imagine for other people as well. Like, when you get to that point, or if you feel like you're going to be getting to that point, or you want to get to that point, it's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? Because it really forces you to take a look at shit, and and also recognizing things that trigger you. And because if you recognize the shit that triggers you, well, goddamn, that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box of shit. Because whatever's triggering you from whatever the situation is may stem from some childhood shit. It may stem from something traumatic or some post-traumatic stress disorder or post-traumatic stress and just shit like that. I don't, like I said, I ain't no fucking therapist or nothing. I'm just on my fucking journey and trying to figure this shit out as I go. And, it is what it is. But I felt like somebody needed to hear it. I know that much. If not anything, I needed to hear myself out loud, vocalize it. You know what I'm saying?
Verbalize, yes. Right.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Jizzo? You over there playing on your phone?
No, man, I'm not playing. Shit, no, I'm just trying to check the comments on Facebook.
Oh,
it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we don't get those comments. So if you guys are watching on Facebook, just jump over to YouTube. That way we can read y'all comments if y'all want to get in on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah. Excellent.
No thoughts? You just you don't need to take an emotional inventory of yourself.
I mean, when I went to the doctor for like a quick checkup, and they ended up telling me that there was a therapist that was on the second floor, and that it was a free service that I could just talk to her real quick. And I had never until that point spoke to anybody. And when I went and spoke to her, I like kind of unloaded everything like on her, like that was going on in my life. And she had like an assistant, someone that was in training with her. And afterwards, I was like, so what do y'all think? And they both kind of just looked like they didn't know what to say at first. And, and she said, well, and I said, I need therapy, right? And she said, well, I don't think you need it. I think you can benefit from it. So I said that to say that I don't know at what point do you need the emotional inventory.
It's not a matter of need. It's like, I think it's a matter of like, you should, like, don't you want to know where you stand emotionally and maybe, I don't know, if there's something that you in your life that triggers some shit, or you get upset about something, you know what I mean, and you can't seem to fucking let it go, or maybe it triggers some other shit, and then you start behaving a certain way, you know what I mean, or doing certain shit. Wouldn't you want to have a handle on that shit? Wouldn't you want to, like? Yeah,
definitely. But I think that right now I'm not experiencing anything like that to be. I think you were experiencing that and came up with that of dealing with it that way because you were going through things. I don't know. I guess right now I just haven't had anything that's just like devastated me. That's just been like, I kind of just.
It doesn't have to be devastating.
But I think everybody deals with things in different ways. Like I think that's just one way to deal with that. But there's other ways to deal with it too. So I don't know. I haven't done that personally.
Hey,
I'd be open to trying though.
Gizzo.
No, I won't, because you said like they didn't know what to say, and like a lot of times, man, the suits, like people who are counselors like myself or therapists, I can't speak for the psychiatrists because they prescribe medicine that's different. But bro, the spoilers, the truth about all of this stuff is. We're like a MacGuffin. That's a writing word for like a plot device. We're a MacGuffin. Basically, like we're something that the reason for therapy and for counselors. Our whole position is to be a mirror to you, to make you find the answers. So to like when people say like, and now in society, everybody like, oh, you need therapy. Everybody needs therapy. Like nobody needs it like that, but people that what they say is you need to take a look at yourself. But no one says take a look at yourself. When they say like I don't think you need it, but I think you benefit from it.
Right.
They're just like they're gonna challenge you and ask like questions and put you in verbal situations and make you answer things. Whether you like it or not, and all of this type of stuff. And that's all that we easier said than done, but that's what our role is you know, as counselors, as you know, therapists, and we're not the same. We have different tiers. You know, even in counseling and therapy, there's different tiers, there's different specialists, and all of that type of stuff. But it's really just to like help with a mirror with certain things. So you come and you talk, and we ask. We ask triggering questions, not to trigger you like in the sense of get you
Set you
going.
off.
Yeah, like to get you to talk about like these things. Positive anger expression. I'm a group counselor, so it's not just me one on one with young men. It's like I got like a group of these like you know fuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me ask you something, D.
Yeah,
It's a two-part question.
yeah.
When was therapy or psychiatry invented, if that's the word, and what were people doing before that?
I don't know the dates on that. What people were doing before that, people had a bunch of different things. It was different avenues for it, like you know, depending on where you was at and what your creed or your religion or your practice was. Some people were, and you know, if you was a pagan, you was doing pagan, you know, stuff. If you was like, you know, like any of the denominations of Christians or Puritan, you was doing that. If you were, you know, if you were in certain civilizations that, you know,
It was
I
religion,
don't
though,
know,
right?
huh?
It was religion for
Not just
everybody.
religion, I don't think. Right,
For
Z?
everybody
No,
back then, it had to have been religion.
it depends on
I believe some of it
region,
was
man.
different cultures. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Plug your mic.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, and they always had like from at least in you know from what is documented, they always had like stuff like that. Some of these people was quacks. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
some of these fuckers would, you know, prescribe drugs or do all
Hmm.
kind of wild shit, you know. So you know, it's just
There's still a lot of
I would
quacks
like to
out there.
think I like to think everybody got better over the years. So,
I just think it's more of them out there now, actually.
I have no idea. Like our mics and shit just got fucked up. I don't know. This night has been just crazy, but it's okay. Um, I don't like. I don't know, man. Fuck. Our mics are fucked up. But I just know how I felt. I just know how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why our mics are jacked up right now. Hold on.
I'm gonna unplug this.
They are getting worse. Heat.
Yeah, hold
OT
on.
sound better now on my end. OT sound.
Yeah. Hopefully that sounds better. I just unplugged it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Your mic is really bad. It's got a lot of static.
Yo.
Heat.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. I don't know, man. Fuck it. I'm just gonna
Work through it.
keep going, work in, push through it. You know how we do. So, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh well, sounds a little bit better. Um,
How
let me
about
try.
you, Gizzo? How it sound?
Let me try something else. But yeah, man. Like I said, I feel the way I feel about it because that's just how I feel about it. My journey is different than everybody else's journey. I don't know, but I think that there's a lot of similarities. And
No journey is the same, man. They can all be learned from.
big facts. And you know, and to me also, like what better way, you know, especially if I'm going through something and things are happening, what better way deal with it or acknowledge it or whatever is like even on this platform, because I know that what people are going through. I don't know what everybody's going through, but I know that it's not special to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, life ain't special to me. Life isn't, I didn't get picked out by the gods and saying, but for you, we're going to make you way different. No, I mean, we all go through shit and we all go through things, and, whatever I go through, I'm just going to, not all the time, but, when necessary, when I see necessary, when I see fit, I will talk about it on the show. And this is one of those things that I felt like it was necessary, because I felt like I needed to take an emotional inventory. You know what I'm saying? And maybe there's someone else out there that may go, hey, what? That sounds like something I should do. That sounds like something that would be a good idea. And then because actually this morning, I brought it up to my wife, and she said, that's a damn good idea that we both do that for 7 days and then come together and talk about these things, because we're having issues. You know what I'm saying? And it would help us to understand what's the trigger, what's fucked up, what's happening that's making her feel a certain way, me feel a certain way. How can we, readjust these things and fix these things so that we're able to move forward from them? If that makes any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's just where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Everybody else is different. You know what I'm saying? I just know that life is not pick me out, that I'm special, that I need all this extra shit. You know what I mean? Because we all got extra shit. You know what I mean? And my shit just may look different than yours. Yours may be brown and mine may be green. It's still shit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That was a metaphor for shit.
I got it.
Yeah, but
I still rap.
Yeah, that's right. My bad.
I
I still rap. I got it. He knew what it was.
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah. But, even right now, like, I feel like I'm going through some shit right this very moment, because I'm sweating how these fucking mics are, and I get really, see, that's another emotional motherfucking shit, part of my inventory, because I get so anal about shit that then I can't focus on other shit. You know what I mean? And I get so anal where it becomes emotional for me, where I get like, and then it becomes physical, because then I'll start sweating, and then I'll start feeling a certain way, and then I'll start behaving a certain way because I'm fixated on something. Pat, he said poop jokes. But yeah, so I mean, to me, it's all in the same, because even doing this inventory, 3 times a day for 7 days, you know what I mean? And even at that same time of another day, I may not be feeling the same way I was, or having some emotion about something at the same fucking time. It may be a good thing. I may be sitting there happy as fuck, listening to some music or something. You know what I mean? But okay, so then now we know that emotionally, that piece right there, the music is what was making me happy, or I was in a happy space with that, and maybe that's something that I need to fucking start implement. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just talking. But it's what I think about it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, makes a lot of sense for me. And what I do, like I said, in some of my other professions, physical training, fitness, journaling is something I teach everybody to do in everything you're doing. So if you write it down and you can see it, using that, just like D says, when you go to a therapist, they act as a mirror. Same thing as looking in the mirror. You can look in and reflect on what you're dealing with. By writing it down, you can see it for a longer period. So in taking inventory, that emotional inventory lets you know this triggers me, that does good, that does bad. Okay, and like you said, you can figure out where the best things work. Same thing with a diet. You write off a week. And at the end of the week, you didn't gain any weight. You know about how many calories you take in. Again, through inventory, you can figure out things what's going on. That's why at the end of the year, a business does inventory to see where they're at also.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, man. It's important because especially for me, like that's a. Especially, I mean, that's just a daily routine. You know what I'm saying? I got no choice. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a lot. like hearing the stuff that I gotta hear. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And be solid and stable for the people that I have to be that for. Man, it can be a lot, and you know,
One
you're
of the
not
things that I read this morning was about, it did say you have a choice. It did say something about understanding what those choices are, understanding that choice that you make, how it affects your behavior and all this other shit. You know what I mean? It's not shit, but you know,
I know what you mean.
yeah, stuff. Well, I like saying shit, whatever. But I just found it really interesting. I thought it was very fascinating to think about those things, and even after I read it, to sit back and I was like, oh fuck, you know, I started to think, oh well, it's not gonna really matter. Like it's not. My initial thought was, okay, well, I'll probably be thinking about this at this point in time or this time of the day, but I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna be thinking. You know what I mean? Like, and that kind of triggered me into thinking, like, oh shit, I might find out some shit about myself. You know what I mean? Some real like, okay, why? Oh, what the fuck was I thinking? Why was I thinking about that? And what triggered me to think that? And what was I feeling emotionally about that? And what were my thoughts like, or my behaviors after that? You know, because sometimes I have a real quick knee jerk reaction to shit. And that's something that I don't want to do any longer either. Just have these crazy knee jerk reactions instead of thinking, you know, like when you were a kid, when you got told to shut the fuck up, really that's all it meant was think before you talk. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, you better watch your mouth.
Or just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, or shut the fuck up.
Or just shut the fuck up.
I'm saying like, you know, like saying watch your mouth is basically saying that's what I meant. Watch your mouth is basically saying, you know, think before you speak. You know? No.
Yeah, man.
I see you shaking your head, D.
No, I was thinking about my own personal emotional inventory because it's you know, getting ready to embark on this week is, you know, I have to get myself, I have to get my head in the game because, you know, I feel, I feel overwhelmed and you know, very aggravated, very angry, you know, about a lot of stuff, and you just have to be there. You have to get it together because you're about to what I'm about to hear, you know, and like I gotta do dual stuff, you know. It's
Right.
not just the counseling stuff. It's like with my group, I gotta do press because we got like an event coming up, so I gotta go and do the rounds and all of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and while simultaneously getting my head in the game, where it's just like, man, I gotta deal with these, and it ain't really the clients that the young men that like counsel. They're dope. I don't mind that. Like I don't hearing their problems is cool. It's everything on the admin side that really take me out. And you know, like I get the same thing. I was on Indeed looking for some, you know, looking for some other things, really having a knee-jerk reaction about some crazy stuff that just happened on the other side of,
Right.
of like this whole thing. And I'm like, man, I'm so ready done with this shit. Like I'm just trying to help people, and y'all just making the job way worse. I don't got time for this politics and all this stuff. But if I don't, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta, you know, and also even for like my own personal like needs. It's like, man, where else am I gonna find a position that, you know, I'm a touring artist, and this as a counselor, it really, you know, the hours are great for hitting the road and being gone for a long time. But like the stuff you have to deal with is like the worst. And it's not what people would think it is. It's the other stuff. And that stuff gets overwhelming, and you just be like, man, you know, like I get frustrated. I get pissed off. I'll be ready to throw the little laptop and the notes all over the place. But you know, higher purpose. You know, I gotta practice. Gotta stay focus on the rap. Or as we were saying, hip hop. I gotta live my raps. How about that?
Right. I mean, it's shit, man. I
Good,
don't know, like
good. Okay.
the more we do this show, the more I think, the more I take or begin to think about all of these other things and taking this emotional inventory is one, because I don't know shit. I don't even know what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm gonna just let my thoughts just go. This has been a fucking journey, man. Like it for real has been a fucking journey. This whole shit, and especially the show, and with you OT, and with you D-Nick, and especially this guy right here, and I'm grateful as fuck. You know what I mean? And I'm in such a different place that I'm not gonna say I'm hyper aware, but I'm hyper aware of shit. But that doesn't mean I always react the right way. It doesn't mean that I always do the right thing. Will I always do the right thing? Even if, let's say, I become overly self-aware and all this other shit, I'll probably still fuck up. You know, I'll probably still make some mistakes. But I feel like being aware of that shit is extremely important. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm more aware of like my friendships with people now. I'm more aware of the. I told my wife like our proximity. You know what I mean? Just the space that we share together. That shit is important, and how we interact in this space is important. How we treat each other in this space is important.
And that $5 word is important.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. It's just, these are just things that I'm seeing within myself. You know, proximity. I said that to her the other morning. I think I pissed her off. I told her, I said, I don't think you understand proximity. What did I say to her? I said, I don't think you understand your behavior in our proximity, or something. The importance of your behavior in our proximity, or some shit like that. And she looked at me, and she was on her way out the door, and she looked at me, and she's like, proximity? And then I fucked up because I let my mouth go before I thought about it, and I was like, do you not know the word proximity? And that pissed her off even more, because now I felt like, you know what I mean? I was like fucking treating her like she was a 2-year-old or some shit. She's like, obviously I know what the word means. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I'm fucked up now. Now this conversation is gonna go downhill fast as fuck, and it did. You know what I'm saying? But before she left, I was like, yo, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's can we reboot or something? You know what I mean? But I mean, just to be aware. That shit is important. You know, because fuck, I feel like I've been walking around blind for a lot of years. You know what I mean? So all of this shit is important to me. And it's important, again, like even with you guys and this show, all of this shit is really important to me. And getting this word out is important to me, because if I'm going through it, there's got to be other motherfuckers going through it. There's got to be somebody sitting around right now going, well, what do I do? And one of the things we always talked about on this show in the beginning was also finding solutions, not just talking, not just sitting up here, but helping to find solutions and figure out solutions to these things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like
Speaking of, man, Gizzo, what was it like? What was it like for you, man? What was your experience? Like, I don't want to reveal what you were saying to the therapist. But what was the experience like for you? Like unloading. You said you unloaded everything. What was that like for you?
It was cleansing, because I think that I used to have best friends that I used to talk to about these things, and they all passed away, man. So like the few people that I had that were like super close to me, that I would unload all the shit in my life, like the super personal stuff, they're gone. And so like ever since then, it's kind of like, you know, there's just certain things that you hold on to. And I felt like that day that I was talking to this lady, and it was just my moment to just let loose, and I kind of just said everything like, dealing with, like working, trying to be with my boys, trying to with my sons, just everything that was going on, like having to do the Shy City Cipher stuff, this and that. We're having a bunch of meetings at that time. It was just a lot. And but yeah, I think what I got out of it was that I felt like I kind of like released the grunt of what like I was holding on. I felt satisfaction that I was able to just tell someone else everything that was going on. Um, and I didn't walk away with I walked away with like steps to a solution. Maybe like she said, here's my number. This is my office. You can come talk to me. So there was like definitely the steps to like maybe some solutions, but I didn't really feel like I walked out of there with like a solution. I just felt good that I was able to let it all out. Like a solution, I just felt good that I was able to let it all out.
Uh-oh, somebody got some delay. Oh, got that.
That's good, man. I would be worried if you did walk out there with a solution. You ain't supposed to walk out there with a solution.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that I think what I did get out of it is that sometimes people take on too many things in their life, um, and just aren't able to like divide all that like in a healthy way. Work, you got people got their 9 to 5, and then people got gigs after 9 to 5s, but then they still got the girlfriend at home and the kids at home, and they're trying to spend time there before dinner gets is over, and there's that stress. And then your job, like for me, my job was calling me all the time, so like they'd call me at like 9 o'clock at night, and I would just leave and go to St. Louis driving to deliver a package. And so I was like all over the place for me, man. It just felt like it felt like I wasn't giving enough in all of the areas. I was just giving just enough to be able to spread thin. But it did. That's kind of what it woke me up to it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like sometimes you're just taking on way too much, and you just gotta not take on that much. I don't know if sometimes people can't do that. I was um, during Thanksgiving. I was at a house, and there was these people there talking, and she was talking about this girl was talking about like the guy goes, well, yeah, everyone's brain doesn't work that way. Everyone's not constantly talking to themselves in their brain, having that inner dialogue. And she goes, and she just couldn't believe it. She's like, how is that possible? Well, you guys aren't using your brain. And I was just like, and I said, I'm not like running my brain right now. Like, I mean, I'm listening to y'all talk. I'm hearing what y'all saying, and I'm kind of taking that in, but I'm not sitting here thinking about shit I got to do tomorrow and this and this and that, and like my brain's going crazy. And but she just couldn't understand that. Like, so I think there's the different people deal with things in different ways. I think the person that is dealing with their brain talking to them like that 24/7 and constantly things, issues and stuff running, they probably might need benefit more from the emotional inventory. Like I said, man, I don't know. I always said jokingly, and I don't know if it's just a stupid joke, but I always said I had this chemical in me called I don't give a fuck. And so when certain shit's going down, like I kind of just can put that shit to the side, which is just probably horrible, but like I'll put that shit to the
At
side.
some point, you're gonna have to deal with that shit. It's gonna come up some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Maybe not in that same type of predicament or whatever it was at that moment, but it's gonna come back up if you don't deal with it. Especially if it's something that had you emotional or in a different emotional state or behave in a certain way.
I guess I just have not. It's probably like a defense mechanism almost. I
Sure.
think like just
Totally
like all
is.
right, like
Totally is.
you know how when they say
I was
you know how when
I
they
was
say
the
you
same
ever been
way.
so tired? You ever been so tired?
Yes,
Or
yes.
actually, you've ever had so many things to do that you take a nap?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. Like
yeah.
I feel it's kind of like
Yes,
like
yes,
kinda
all the
like
time,
that.
all the time, man. I was
Like fuck all this shit
man,
sometimes. Like you know what? The world's gonna still keep going how it's supposed to go, and in the end, when I'm on my fucking deathbed, I'm not gonna be worried about like why I didn't deliver the package on time at work, or like whatever other shit that was like constantly occupying my head. Like in the end, none of that shit matters, man. Like they did a poll with some people that were in hospice, and the poll was that what was the biggest thing. The question was what was their biggest regret in life, and their biggest regret in life was having worked so hard. Because in the end, like none of that mattered to them. They were just like, man, I wish I would have paid more attention to my family instead of worked so hard. Because now the years are gone and my life is over and I'm in hospice and none of that shit really matters, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, man.
But
Wow.
you know, like none of this, none of the stupid shit, man, that's affecting us. None of that shit really matters. I think that's why when we're dealing with a situation and we're having a mental health situation, I think people will not not confirm your feelings, but will try to, you know, you ever somebody having a bad day and you like, oh come on, man, it could be worse. Oh come on, man, like you know what I mean? Like shit could always be worse. Like I don't know, man. Dealing
No,
with
I was at an event over the weekend, and it was a cool event. You know. I mean, you take what you take from it. It was alright, and somebody was just like, "Yo, man, D, get out there, and yo, man, get down, and we gonna break. Everybody get down and break. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. And what people don't know, I got multiple sclerosis. I have zero feelings like in my legs from my knee to the bottom of my foot. Like if like no feeling. It feels like I'm about to fall every single second I walk. And I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. And they like, come on, man. You know, it's a hip hop thing, you know, and and I kind of spazzed for a second. I was like, man, hip hop stinks, bro.
Right.
I was on that shit. Like, it was like, why you like, because it stinks.
Right.
You know. And I shouldn't have said that. But I was. You know, like I ain't no person, you know, and I'm just tripping. I'm sorry, you know, and all of that. I apologize, but I don't want to, you don't want nobody to woe is you and all of this stuff. It's nobody, you know, like these a bunch of rappers and b-boys and DJs. They don't give a fuck about not having in your eye or you can't feel your legs. You know what I'm saying? That's they want to
Show us up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they see you and they want you to get out there and do your thing. And so I just wanted to support and enjoy the show. But it did something for me. It's just like, oh my God, and now and I left. I got up and left because I'm looking at the whole thing, like the whole thing negatively. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't come here for that. You know what I'm saying? I had to remove myself. I was like, you know what? I was out of pocket. Luckily, the person I was talking to, like, took it as a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, he totally took it as a joke, and I'm glad. I didn't want to be offended and all of that. And I got up and excused myself a little early, and wobbled myself, to the car. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get my balance together as I'm walking. And that's the thing. And you came home and was super angry, super frustrated, super sick, man. Cause it's like, man, and it comes and goes. It comes and goes. And I'm just like, fuck, man. I do not want to be on the cane.
Right.
I do not want to be on the cane. But it's a ticking clock. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm blessed though. I have to train myself and consist. That's why I always say it's a practice. Cause I have to yo, man. It's people with I got 8 legions on my brain. It's people with 3 that are full-fledged paraplegics. So the fact that you wobbly a little bit. Man, you're blessed that you still can go. You know what I'm saying? But it's frustrating. You when you in it, and you lose. But I don't want to be inside.
Is that taking inventory though? Isn't that taking inventory of like you said, there's people worse off than me. That's making a list. Well, shit, I got this, but I'm still functioning. I'm still good. So as you take inventory, we said for our topic, you assess. Well, shit, I ain't doing that damn bad. So I'm actually doing good. So that makes you then more aware of where you at, where your situation is.
Taking inventory is taking inventory of how I feel. I was pissed. I'm pissed that like my legs. I'm pissed like you never watch. You never know how like crazy like certain things that people just totally take for granted. I don't like I be when I can't like it's not just my legs. I can't feel this side and like all from here to here. So it's like you want to just dig in your nose because you want to. You like, man, I can't feel the inside of my nose. People gonna look up. Oh, why that dude digging in his nose? You know what I'm saying? It's not because I'm looking for boogers. I'm like, dang, I ain't got no feeling inside my nose. And it's like, damn, I miss the feeling inside my nose. Hope it comes back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you feel. You get mad. Like the inventory, taking the inventory is like I am really pissed off that my shit is fucked up, and I don't look like handicapped. You know what I'm saying? I look normal, so that person is like, man, come on, man, everybody's suffering. Come on, get up there and break. And I can't dance, like especially breaking. I can't dance right now. I don't got no feeling in my legs. Let's go.
Hey,
So
but
the story is I'm pissed, and who am I pissed at? Like I'm just pissed, because I feel like I'm robbed. I feel like I'm robbed of something that I do and I can do and have done. You know what I'm saying? But the inventory is that I'm pissed off, and then another inventory is like, man, I'm frustrated and sad, and all of that type of stuff. That shit is, but after you take the inventory, the next is the process, man. It ain't homie's fault. Like he wanted to, me to come out there, catch yourself. Thankfully you said it in jest. You wasn't offended. You cool. What? You're looking at this whole event like, man, it's cool to see everybody. Now you're looking at it like, man, this ain't nothing but just a hip hop circle jerk. You got bad energy. You feel like that. That's you that feel like that. You need to remove yourself because this stuff is doing something. Because at the root of it, you pissed that your legs are not 100%. You not so much pissed because I can see, so I don't really need feeling in mine. And this part is a random ass part of the face. But I'm more pissed about my legs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're walking, and then it's like, okay. I'm in motion. I can walk. I ain't falling. Cool. All right. And then it's just like, man, there's people suffer. If this person is in the, that's a thing of getting strength in the practice. Where it's like, man, it's a cat, it's a whole paraplegic. You know what I'm saying? You look at look at the picture of your brain. I get an MRI like annually. So you look at the thing in your brain, you look at all those blotches, and you're like, fuck. Well, I can still rap. I can still break. Eventually, when the feeling comes back, you know what I'm saying? I can still move. I can still do all that stuff. You be thankful for what you got. You be thankful for what that's right. You got practice that because it's easy to be bitter. It's real easy to be bitter. It's real easy to be pissed. Like I said, I ain't no perfect person. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real easy to be pissed and bitter.
Hey D, I think it's let me I just want to say something. Like I feel everything you were saying about that, and I think it's not like you were saying, it's not until you think about like how other people have it. When my son got sick, we were in the hospital at Northwestern, and I remember walking around, like having to leave the room just to like get like a mental break, and walking around that floor to exit, and most of those doors were open and you could see inside. And I mean, I saw kids like with like tubes like coming out of their head. Like I saw like really sick kids, man. And it just made me think like, damn, man, like no matter what's happening, like, it's true, man. There is always someone that's going through it like a lot worse, and like and count your blessings that you do have, like you said, your sight, your sight that you're still that you're not on a cane. Like, yeah, I think in the inventory is probably like inventorying like the bad feelings, but are we inventorying the good feelings too?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, 100%.
Well,
That's part of
you
part of fixing
Yes,
the
yes,
shit.
that's
Yeah.
part of
Yeah,
the thing about so it's a tricky thing. It's not that you disregard the good feelings. By no means am I saying that. You focus on those too, but you not but period new sentence. You take your inventory to see how you can assess what you need to do, like to move through, like, because how you feel is how you feel. Like if
Right.
I'm angry, you know what I'm saying? Like unless I mean I'm it on and off, my feet come back, like the feeling in my feet come back. But I'm angry. I'm angry of it. So it's like, how do I channel that? How do I deal with that anger? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How do
I-
I
I
that's
started-
the next thing after the inventory is the process.
right.
Yeah, I think that process is forever going. Right, we had a guest on the show many shows ago. In the beginning, we had GC. Do you remember GC, man? He got shot. So GC got shot in his head when he was 16 years old. And I don't know, like, I just, every time I ever hung out with him or like stuff, I would kind of like analyze my own life in that process, and I always remembered how like the world that he remembered was a world when he was 16, and he's like in his late like 20s now. But yeah, I always said to myself, damn, the world he remembers is like the world as it was in his like late teens. And also like the struggles of like getting older, dealing with that, knowing that like he wasn't born blind. He lived with his vision for many years until he got shot. And just like the emotional toll on that, like, and he actually stayed for the check-in. I don't know what the check-in was about that day.
I don't remember.
The day, I think it was about like friends or something like that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, like, I don't know. I always just look at people's situations, because it's as bad as I may think that mine is, man. Like, I'm just shit, man. I guess I'm just blessed, man. I guess I'm just blessed, and yeah, I think I'll try the inventory thing, because
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you.
inventorying the good and the bad, like,
Yeah, that's the whole thing about when you write it down is you have two sides. You have your positive and your negative. So like whatever your thoughts were at that moment of the day, you write it down. So if it was good, you write it down. You know what I'm saying? And then what was that good feeling, and what you were feeling in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So they said that what I read was 3 times a day for 7 days, and then you really, but again, it's just like D said, it's a practice. You've got to. It's like muscle memory. You got to keep doing it, and it's almost like rewiring your brain, so to speak.
Yeah, man. And I'm personally, like, I'm pissed because I got caught off guard. Like,
Right.
Like I had no flare ups in like a year. So I've been good. Like I was back to, I was just about to start working out again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then boom, like started with the eye, and then one day I get like I fall out. Like as soon as I get out of bed, I fall out of the bed, like, because I can't feel my legs. So I'm like, I have to practice my brain being like, my legs work. I just can't feel them. So I have to go on. I have to. That shit.
It's like instinct.
As crazy and hard as it sounds, it's probably worse. It's like, okay, can't feel my legs, but let me stand up. Okay. All right. It does. I can still stand. I can still walk. I could probably still run. But man, it feels weird. Because you can't feel them. You can't feel them from the knee to the bottom of the foot. And then it's like, oh snap, I can't feel this. Oh snap, I can't feel inside my nose. All right. Cool. Which means you don't know if this nostril is running. So you gotta walk around with tissue all the time, because you won't even know if this nostril is running until it fall in, until something falls in your mustache. You gotta, you know, and then now that becomes your life until the feeling gets back. And that stuff, after not having a flare up in a year, that stuff will piss you off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and we got a show at the MCA like Saturday, and so you got to get ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
On the flip side, that's a blessing. Like, ain't no like our peers rocking at the MCA. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got like don't nobody do what we do as a collectively, as a group. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Not to shit on everybody. Everybody do what they do. But you know, it's like you just gotta do it with no feelings in your legs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that, you know, and it's so easy to get. It's the balance is always a trick. It's so easy to get like I said, it's so easy to get bitter. Like people be like, man, you so disciplined. It's like, man, I have to, because I get pissed if I don't eat right. Man, I can make myself even worse. You know what I'm saying? It's not a, you know, the creator of Jah will make me do this shit the way I'm supposed to do it. Otherwise, it's gonna be way worse. You know, I don't want to be bitter.
Right.
I don't want, I don't want to be angry. And you get strength from other people. You know, that's why I personally like being a group counselor. I feel like it makes the job. I would never want to. For me, I would never want to be a therapist. You know, I like doing group counseling because it's less of a weight on me. You know what I'm saying? Because they hold each other accountable on certain things.
Right.
And
I think it was going to be very interesting going through this process of this whole emotional inventory, and I really want to see how the week ends out and how my brain was working. You know what I'm saying? Because my kids tell me all the time that I'm just like a grumpy old man and, you know, shit like that. And I'm gonna, it'll be very It's going to be very interesting to see that and to go through it and go, oh wow, you know, I have a sneaky suspicion that I'm not as joyful as I think I am. You know what I'm saying?
He said a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah. I have a sneaky suspicion that I'm not as joyful and fucking all that shit as I think I am. You know what I mean? So, but this
what's
is
the I know you said 7 days. What's the full layout plan?
The layout plan is to set an alarm or phone, for that matter. For me, would be phone for 3 times a day, right? Morning, noon, night, or however you want to do it, and have a notebook handy or your phone. Obviously, fucking make a thing in your phone, and so you take note. When that alarm goes off, you take note of how you were feeling in that moment. So if you were upset, and the most important part of it is to be honest with yourself while doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's I think I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that. But I might. You never know. I might not want to admit that I'm angry or pissed about something on paper. You know, maybe I might want to try to fudge the motherfucking numbers. But I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna genuinely go into it and do it the right way and do it the best way that I can, because I'm really curious to see how 7 out of 7 days, 3 times a day, like what my overall emotional state is. You know what I'm saying? Am I perpetually fucking depressed, or am I perpetually, upset and pissed off? Am I and what is causing these things, and what is causing these things to trigger me to be that upset? And even more importantly, why in the fuck am I behaving this way by this feeling? You know what I mean? The things is I'm going to be looking at also my behavior while I'm feeling that way. You know what I mean? What is it that I'm doing? How am I interacting with people? How am I, even physically for myself, if I'm by myself, what am I doing physically? If it's picking up the phone and bugging the shit out of somebody or whatever, whatever it is, I'm very curious. I'm a little anxious, but at the same time, it's just very fascinating, and it's gonna give me some insight on myself, which is important. I need to do this self awareness, this self fucking inventory, all of this, because where I want to be, my end goal is for me to be. You know what I'm saying? Which is a better version of myself, a better version than last year, last 6 months, yesterday. God damn it, you know what I mean? So, and this is my journey though. Everybody else's may be different, but I would encourage everybody to do an emotional inventory.
Yes.
I mean, look it up. If those of you that are watching, if you don't know what it is or what it means, look it up. It's very simple. It could be. I mean, I don't know, man. It might be simple for some people, maybe difficult for others. I don't know. But I don't even know how this is gonna work out for me. But I'm gonna do it. You know
The
what I mean?
process is simple. The execution is
There
a
you
lot
go.
more difficult than people would give it credit for.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going in the process because it seems simple, right? But I'm already knowing that it's going to be difficult, but I'm ready for it because I'm ready to move forward on a lot of different things. I don't particularly like that I behave a certain way about certain shit. And what is it and why are those things triggering me? Why is it that I'm behaving this way because of whatever that particular situation is? Because it could be a number of things. You know what I'm saying? And but I want to get down to the nitty gritty of it. I want to find out what it is. I want growth, man. I'm sick of being stagnant in thought and stagnant in who I am as a person, man. I feel like with my growth is going to come a lot more success in everything that I do. So these things are important to me, and we say this shit on the show a lot too about being, helping yourself first. Getting your shit together first for yourself. That way you can extend that grace as I've been using so much lately. Thank you, D-Nick. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said something the other day. I said, well, the least you could do is extend me some grace. You know what I'm saying? But,
Growth.
yeah, but, all of this shit, this is the reason why we do it. You know what I mean? Because it's important, I think, and I don't reckon it to my age or anything like that. I only reckon it to my age because it took me this motherfucking long. Some other people, they get it at 20 or they get it at 30 or whatever. There might be an extraordinary child out there that gets it at 5 or 6. Or God knows, I don't know. But I do get upset that it's taking me this goddamn long to figure shit out. I do get upset about that a lot. And I find myself festering in those thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And thoughts just ruminating. By the way, those are two $5 words. Ruminating in my brain and shit. So ruminating is a real word. Festering is a real word, sir. Yeah. Trust my vocabulary is far exceeds yours, sir. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But you see, I'm a piece of shit. I shouldn't even have said that. But whatever. I'm gonna, I'm working on it.
That was a test and you failed.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a test, and I didn't fail anything. I recognize it. So there.
That was a test for Gizzo.
Yeah, it was a test. And for Gizzo, I fucking failed. Whatever, dude.
It's all good.
Let's see that. We got Pat just said something. Pat Stern, what'd he say? White Jesus says, we can't be any help to anyone. We fucked. It's an endless residual spill off when we were off. Wait, let me read that again. We can't be any help to anyone if we fucked. Always talking about like your person, like yourself. If you're fucked, it would be endless residual spill off when we're off.
When we are off.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're off your regular and you're
Off your game, right?
off your game and having a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not no help to nobody when especially like a team sport. And you ain't on point.
But this is not a team sport, and this is a solo dolo sport right here. You know what I mean?
No, life ain't no solo. We ain't
No, I didn't say
we ain't
live. I
designed
didn't
for
say
that.
live. I didn't say live, sir. I'm talking about
Yeah.
self-reflection and doing things for yourself first.
Right.
That sport right there, man, it takes courage, it takes understanding, it takes the willingness to do it, and and what I'm finding, man, like D had said something to me a while back when I was talking about my mother, and he had said you need to take time to I think you said pat myself on the back or something of that nature. And yeah, give myself some credit. And I told somebody that the other day, and it made me go back to think about that, and I was like, fuck, man, that's another thing that we don't do a lot as people is to give ourselves enough fucking credit. And so when I hear my sons talk about shit, and they're like, well, this and this and that, and then this person did that and everything. I said, man, just stop. Just give yourself some credit. Just give yourself some credit, because you're the one who had to get up and go to work. You're the one who had to go out and do this. You're the one who had to show that you were worth whatever and the fuck this job just gave you and everything else. Give yourself credit. And shout out to D Nick for that. Yeah. Shout out to giving one self credit. You know what I mean? That's a tough thing to do, because I think a lot of times growing up or whatever, we're not taught to give ourselves credit, or maybe even giving ourselves credit is thought to be real selfish. You know what I'm saying? Or to be, I don't know, like, why would you give yourself credit? Like, you narcissistic ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it means a lot.
Man, that shit can be hard, man. That shit can be really, really hard. Just all of that. Not even just learning yourself, but like giving other people grace and all of that. That stuff, man. That stuff is practice. It is practice. It is difficult.
Yes.
Like, man, it was man. I don't even remember what it was. It was somewhere I was with Gizzo, and somebody said something like wow. And Gizzo had this look in his face like, I should slap the shit out of you, baby. I don't, man. Where the fuck was we at? Someone said something crazy, and Gizzo just. I could see it. Like, I could see it in his face.
You can sense the predator and come out.
I know what he's talking about.
Man.
I know what he's talking about. This guy at Sub T, he was on stage during the open mic, and that day I decided to just be like a spectator, and I think that's the day you're talking about. And I was just a spectator, and I'm recording, and he comes up to me off stage and goes, "Hey, bro," tries to hand me money and says, "Can you go get me a drink at the bar?"
What?
That's what it was. Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Nah, man. Go ahead, just walk over to the bar." I said something to him like, "Just go on your own to the bar, like get your drink." But yeah, and it's funny because Jory ended up catching that moment. I don't know where, on what footage, but he had footage of the moment and he posted it on Facebook of the dude like coming up to me and asking me like to go get him a drink. Like, the fuck?
Look at Pat.
You and me were drinking beers out of a book bag outside in the alley somewhere.
Shout out Pat.
I remember. I don't know what he. I wasn't close enough to hear what he said, but I remember him. I remember the money and all, and I just remember the look on Gizzo's face, and I could see, like I could see it, I could see it.
Yeah, I was just more shocked. It was kind of funny. I was just like, what? Like,
oh,
go
come on,
get
man.
you a drink. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was crazy, man. But yeah, people will try to test you. I always, like, I try to keep in my mind that, like, there's people walking around with really bad fucking energy, and they are in arm's reach all day. Whether it be the store you stop at to get your coffee in the morning, it might be at the 7-Eleven, it might be someone in there with a nasty ass attitude in front of you. Like, I don't know, there's just always situations where someone's trying to transfer like this like negative energy to you, and gotta just, shit. I don't know. I don't let that shit. I try not to let that shit get to me unless it's some bullshit. But yeah, I try to typically not let that get to me. Like, man, they're just having a bad day. I don't know what's going on in their life, but they're fucked up right now. Like, and whatever, man. Just don't put your hands on me.
Oh wow! All right, so we're gonna call it one.
Sounds good to me.
As we always do, D. We gonna start with you, OT, and then you, Jizzo, and then myself. Last words, last thoughts. D. Nick.
Oh man, taking inventory of yourself, whatever practice of you do it, like how you're doing it. He is really dope, especially as a start off. Some of us that have been doing that, like for a minute, you do it pretty regularly, pretty consistently, and then even for that, sometimes it's like, man, go back to square one to kind of take the pressure off yourself,
Right.
instead of taking like emotional inventory all the time, every second, like sometimes it'd be good advice for me to go back to square one and doing it in those steps. Those tools are ongoing and recurring, and and nobody's an expert. Everybody just has more experience, and the more you're forever a student, so it's forever learning, you're forever growing. So like it's nothing. Like I'm even thinking about like, I might need to go back to square one just to take the pressure off of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it can't get overwhelming. As you grow and you get more air quotes advanced. Go back to square one. Help you. And yeah, with that, I'm in, man. Blessings. See everybody if you're able. If you're in Chicago, see you Saturday. The MCA.
Yes, sir. Man, we love you over here, bro. For real. OT.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, first of all, it's been good. Thank you guys for this opportunity to do this podcast, to learn, to grow. Like we said, every day, every time we do this podcast, we learn something from it. The taking of inventory is a positive thing. It's a good thing, and it works really well. So I can testify to my life that it definitely works. I'm proud of you guys. Gizzo, he, thank you guys for putting up with me. And hopefully next time we see, I'll be back in the great US of A, doing some other things. But thank you guys, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise, bro.
Yeah, man. Same. I'm just grateful for the show, man. It's always like teaching me something, and I've told you in conversations like of situations that I've dealt with and been like, man, I was ready for that because of what we spoke about on the one show, or like or because of this, or I was prepared to talk because of that. So I'm just grateful for the show overall, all the topics, including this one, emotional inventory. I'm definitely open to it. I'm just open to just things in general now, man. Like ever since. Believe it or not, ever since it was put to me that way by that therapist about it's not something you need, just something you could benefit from. It just made me look at stuff different. Like, yeah, you know what? I probably could benefit from that or that. Or just keeping an open mind. So yeah, man. Shout out to y'all, man. You already know. Shout out to the Cypher. Love y'all.
Yeah. Love you right back, man. Love all you motherfuckers. That's how I put it. See? Like my kids say, I'm a grumpy ass old man. But we don't figure it out. I'm gonna take this journey. I'm gonna take this emotional inventory. I'm gonna look and take a really good look at myself, and take a really good look at my behaviors, and really take a really good look at what I want and what I desire within myself every day. I feel like this is really important for anybody out there. Once again, try it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna kill you. It's definitely gonna help you. It's emotional inventory. You don't know what it is, Google it. You Google everything else, motherfucker. So Google that shit. You know what I'm saying? Look it up. It's not that difficult to do, and you will come out a winner in the end. I promise you. You're going to learn something. You're going to learn something about yourself. You're going to be able to fix some things that you may not even know that needed to be fixed. Or I would maybe fixed is the bad word, but not the right word to use. But you'll find something that you could adjust. How about that? Adjust some behaviors. Adjust some of the thought process, and maybe you won't have a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe you won't be a reactive person. Maybe, you know, maybe it might be life-changing. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna be better at the end of it. I'm sure of that. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I love you, motherfuckers, man. This has been the check-in. We'll be back next Sunday. Hopefully, not hopefully, we'll be back next Sunday at 8:30, goddammit. We ran a little bit late, but shit, we here. And now we out. Love y'all. Peace, peace. Blessings, blessings.
Peace.
See y'all Sunday, man. We out.
Yeah.